The ever bloodier and ever more forgotten war in the Ukraine places ultra-nationalist units loyal to Kiev in the front line. Like the 250-man Azov Battalion, which fought in the east of the country, taking back cities such as Mariupol, which had fallen into the hands of the pro-Russians. The unit that operates in eastern Ukraine is under the control of Kiev's Interior Ministry. We spent several days in base camp and in training, following the volunteers who belong to this unit and who are accused of being Nazi sympathizers. This war is certainly no game, but in the Ukraine, children bearing arms pose for photographs on both sides of the barricades.
They call them black men because of the color of their uniform and because they are part of the Ukrainian and European extreme right. This is the Berdyansk zone, the principal base of the unit, the Azov Battalion. Deploy in the front line against the pro-Russian. Their sole motto is death to the enemy.
Morte al nemico.
The battalion's volunteers allow themselves to be filmed only when masked for fear of reprisals. And they train every day in anticipation of the battle against the pro-Russians.
This is the song of separatists called Death to the Enemies.
The head of the Kremlin is the preferred target of these young soldiers, who come not only from Kiev and from the historically anti-Moscow western part of the country, but also from Donetsk and other Russian strongholds.
Nell'est dell'Ucraina, dove infuria la guerra civile.
In eastern Ukraine, where the civil war against the pro-Russians rages, the Azov Battalion, deployed in the front line, trains by shooting at a polygon. The pro-Kiev unit has recruited a dozen European volunteers from France, Sweden and Finland. Among them is Francesco, an Italian whom they all refer to as the Don.
It all began when they erected the barricades in Maidan Square. I was there almost by accident, something of an external spectator who did not even speak the local language. I had a word with myself which meant that I behaved like E.T. and said, home. Evidently something was reawoken in me of the experiences of my youth when, in the 70s and 80s, I was a member of the Italian National Front, the Avanguardia Nazionale and Costruiamo l'Azione. Clearly this virus had not been entirely put to sleep. When I later understood that they were preparing a more or less masked invasion in the south and east, I found myself faced with two options. Either to say I was no longer interested in being a player, to abandon all those young people with whom I had shared such intense experiences, and go home, because the game had become too dangerous, or to stay on with them. I chose the second option. I don't think I have committed any crime, if I have understood the law well. I am not a mercenary but a volunteer. I don't receive any pay, big or small. I'm fighting for a friendly state under the aegis of the Interior Ministry. They accused us of being paid by Putin, then by the CIA, then by Mossad, then by the EU, and then by I don't know who else, when all you need to do is to look at our powerful equipment. This is our most powerful vehicle. You can admire how it has been armed. We are definitely ultra-nationalists. To call us Nazis or fascists is, as they say in Liguria, una bellinata, nonsense. Certainly it is more likely that the volunteers come from the right than from Stalinist Soviet Russia. Among the Ukrainians who have joined up, there is no shortage of ultras. We are here because this is the year of our independence. The politicians reduced our nation to a point in which corruption and anti-democratic laws were destroying the country. We are ultras, and obviously Like ultras all over the world, we like soccer. Everyone is afraid of dying. But we are here because of patriotism, to protect our country. Many soldiers in the battalion follow the myth of the Roman Empire.
My nickname is Caesar because Romans are cool, were cool. I started in Maidan since the November the 24th till the February the 18th, where when all those clashes and gunfire began. I had this. It's a burn from the Cap's grenade. And when I cured this, I joined the Azov Battalion. I choose to come here because there's no civil war in here. It's Ukrainian-Russian war, because all those so-called separatists, terrorists, murderers, they're all sponsored and trained by Russia, and a big part of them came from Russia. I think it's a battle of Europe. It's all European civilization. As always happened in history, Ukraine was the barrier of the hordes from the east.
We are returning to the Azov Battalion base in Berdyansk, in eastern Ukraine. A unit made up of volunteers both from the Ukraine and from other European countries who all earned their spurs on the barricades of Maidan Square, among the ultranationalist followers of Pravi sector. Now they have taken up arms to stop the pro-Russian separatists.
Of the foreigners, the European volunteers, some are on leave, some are in training. As to those arriving from Finland and from other Baltic countries, their motivation is that they think they will be Russia's next prey. One of the few unmasked men is the Swede, Mikael Skillt.
I saw snipers killing civilians or nationalists on Maidan, and I have some sniping skills myself, so I decided to go and help them fight snipers from Berg. I believe to a growing party in Sweden. It's called Party of the Swedes. It's a ethnic nationalistic party in Sweden. I served with the Army and the National Guard. There arrived one more Swede yesterday, a very experienced instructor. And it's something special when you feel your heart pumping and you see a lot of bullets coming, and you can see in the ground actually where the bullet hit.
We went to Mariupol, where we attacked and destroyed the barricades and the headquarters of the separatists. The shots they fired at us, in response to our fire, even if we had told them to surrender, surprised me less, because they were exactly what you would expect. The most incredible thing was when we got an anti-aircraft weapon and aimed it point blank at the barricades. We did not know anything and thought we were caught in a crossfire. Then, when the tanko arrived, I almost started laughing, despite the stress, because it was completely covered in armour, like something from an amateur army, from some kind of armata brancaleone. But it worked really well in driving through the barricades. The tanko was built from a waste disposal truck, so it was very solid. And then it was covered in homemade armour. As you can see, it is not exactly a 5-star hotel. I think that anyone who comes to fight in a war, thinking of dying, or only of killing real or presumed enemies, is little more than a madman. Perhaps I am lucky to have a wife who comes from a former Warsaw Pact country, beyond the Iron Curtain. What helped her most to digest all this was that she had lived under the Soviet yoke for years. I'm Russian. I'm 24 years old, and my name is Murat. I have always waited for the right moment to fight against the system of power in Russia.
Против системы, которая сложилась в России.
To be treated as a traitor is the most horrible and humiliating thing that could happen to me.
Я думаю, что я сделаю все, чтобы не...
Muram, the young Russian who came down from the Urals, has no doubt that if he is captured he would prefer to blow himself up with a grenade rather than to be taken alive.
Лучшее, что может быть.
There is far more honor in dying for one's ideals than in getting oneself shot.
Как-то уйти от плена, может быть.
The Azov Battalion wants to become an international brigade by attracting an ever greater number of volunteers from all over Europe.
Not actually a battle against Russia, because I have no problem with the Russian people. I have a problem with, we call them Moscovites, idiots who believes every word of Putin. Separatists doesn't scare me. So if they want to come for me, they are more than welcome. Yes, I heard they will pay 80,000 for my head, so please come and take it.